Hi, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for joining. I am Kelly Pitts. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Lubbock, Texas, and have customers all over the US, which is or I will have, I can have, I don't yet, but I'm trying to build to that. I don't want to mislead you. I'm just saying that I can have customers all over. So no matter where you've tuned in from, I would like to know where you're from and your name. And if y'all have signed in through StreamYard, you should have gotten a message if you're on my Create with Kelly Crew group or affiliated with my Facebook page or anything. I think you get a little notification that says that you need to give Facebook and StreamYard the okay to publish your name and your photo if you're interested in making comments and letting me see who you are. So I'm going to go over here and see if I can see comments. I don't see any yet, but hopefully you'll let me know when you tune in. Would love to find out all about you. And if you have any questions or anything, I will try to keep up with comments as I go. It's just sometimes it's a little difficult to do both at once, but I'm happy to help if I can. So tonight we are going to do a Halloween card. This is one of the 4 Halloween cards that I did recently for a class and a class to go kit. And I will have PDFs available also. I will show you the card we're doing tonight. And let me show you, should have had these up here, but I was trying to keep them a secret. I think maybe I gave you a sneak peek once before, but they are over here. This is the one we're making tonight. Let me go ahead and switch over so you can see a little bit of it. This is the one for tonight. And I'll show you, we'll give you a full close-up. We'll go ahead and do the inside of that real quick so you can see the little witch's feet. Isn't that cute? And the little spider. I just think that's a darling little spider. Look at him. How cute is that? And the little witch has flown into something to make her feet upside down on the inside. So that's the one we're going to make tonight. Hi, Rebecca. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for tuning in. And also we have, this is one of the cards that we made at the class, this Halloween Happiness with kind of a fun fold. And I will be showing that on a separate video shortly. And then we have this one that utilizes the Bewitching dies also with the hats. And it opens up like this. So it's a fun fold. And it uses the paper from the Celebrate Everything Hostess pack that is just awesome. I've bought an extra pack, in fact, because I'm using it on so many cards. And then here is my favorite. I don't know which one is yours, but we will be making this one on a video also. Woo! That's kind of a Hallow-WOW-Ween card, right? So tonight we're going to do the easiest one. I just didn't know how long it was going to take on those others and needed to die cut a little bit more. So I will switch the camera over and we can be full screen so you can see a little bit better. And Rebecca was one of the ones at the Halloween class, I do believe. So this may not be, this isn't new for you, Rebecca, but it is going to be fun anyway. And you can give us any comments that you would like to share. I'm glad to have you. All right, we're going to switch over the camera to just the desktop. And thanks, Rebecca, for tuning in. I'm glad you're having fun here. I know you've had some fun little trips too here recently. I'm anxious to hear about them when you get a minute. Okay, we've got several items that we used in this card making project. The first of which is the cling stamp set called Bewitching, and it comes with a bundle with the punch. And this is the Witch Hat Builder Punch, and it makes the hat and little stars and a hat band that you can cut out. So those two things are the main items that we used. And then we're going to use Memento Ink, the black ink. And we'll be using, for the texture, embossing folder, which I'm going to show you when we get to that part, kind of how to do that so that you don't end up with a cardstock like this if you're not paying attention. But that is called the Stripes and Splatters 3D embossing folder, and we're using the stripes tonight. And I used the splatters previously and can't find that folder, so tonight. But we're going to use the stripes here, and then we're going to use also a different folder. We're going to use the Time Worn Type 3D embossing folder, and that one is number 156505. If you're interested in that one, it's a really neat, just a texture. It kind of has some words in it, but yet you can't really read most of the words, so it really makes an interesting pattern. And this Stripes and Splatters folder comes, there's one folder this size. It fits in the mini Stampin' Emboss machine, and it's 157980. Then we're also going to be using a little bit of our watercolor pencils, and I have both the Assortment 2 and the Assortment 1 here. And we use the Deckled Rectangles dies, several of those, and that's 159123, I believe. I've got to get these redone here. 173, 159173 is that one. And then if you don't have the other set that is in our catalog, the other Halloween set called, which I borrowed this one from our wonderful customer, Susan, the Scary Cute bundle. I used her Halloween Happiness from this one. So it has a little die, but it's very similar to this banner that is in the Stylish Shapes dies. So if you already have a Halloween greeting, which I had a lot of those, so I decided I didn't have to have that set too, you could use this banner die for that right here if you want to make this card. And then last but not least, the border dies. These are called Basic Borders dies, and that is number 155558. 155558, and we are using the zigzag one that looks kind of like rickrack. I don't know if y'all ever did any kind of sewing projects or anything. I remember sewing on rickrack to like some doll clothes or something, and I haven't sewn in a long time. So just thought I would share that with you. Okay, and I'll get started here. We're also going to use the Stamparatus, and I have that set up for one of the witch's feet from this die set. So we'll get this going. Get this where you can see it. And this is going to be for this card, and I set it up upside down thinking I was going to do the other feet, but I'm just going to do this one at the moment, and then we'll have to switch it around. Either my brain won't figure out how to do it, or it just won't work. So we're going to use the Memento Ink. Let me see if I can turn it sideways, see if y'all can see that better. Yeah, there we go. In the camera. And we're going to use Memento. We're just going to quickly get these little witch's feet inked up really well. And really with Memento, you need to ink it up and get it pretty juicy, and then use some pressure on it, do a little twist and turn. It really takes a little more finesse than our regular stamp pads, which you just have to tap, tap, tap to get the ink on those. But the Memento's a little more difficult, and that's why I suggest using the Stamparatus, because I just know we're not going to get as black as we want with just one pass. So I'm going to use some pressure, let it sit there a minute, and take the paper. And you too could have these wonderful rings, spider rings, had you come to the Halloween class. Maybe next year you'll want to join us. Sorry, I have a really messy plate here. Okay, so those are pretty good. And that it looks good on camera, but I think there are a couple little spots that could use a little more ink. So we're going to ink it up again, because after all, we have it on the Stamparatus for that reason, so that we can just flip the plate over, and we know these magnets are going to hold that paper in place, or we cross our fingers and hope they will. That's the point of it after all. Woo! See how much better that looks? Isn't that great? Okay, so those are our feet there. Now, like I said, I cannot wrap my brain around how to make this work and make them upside down on the top, because they have to go this way. So they just aren't going to fit in here in either this one or this one. So we're just going to have to take this off, and we don't really, yeah, it's probably easier to clean it. Go ahead and clean that off, and then we'll just put the paper in where we want it. I'm just going to kind of line it up on that edge and that edge. Then, nope, I'm going to do it like this. Okay, I'm going to move that up a little. Got to get my brain in gear still. Thinking of how to do this upside down. Okay, so I want these to kind of go right to the edge. I'll show you this. So the feet are going to be upside down. There we go. Now my brain's kicking in. All righty. So I want them on this side so I can put the little spider up there. Okay, so position it on the paper where you want it, and then pick it up with the plate. Flip it over. Ink it up. Hope y'all are having a great week. Thanks, Rebecca. I'm glad you like the rings. I thought that'd be a little fun for our class and our class to go kit for the Halloween set. Okay. Ink it up the second time and we'll be good to go. All right, now we have a little bit of scribble. I should have checked it. Sometimes you can get a little bit around the edge if your rubber extends past the stamp quite a bit. And I got a little bit of that halo, but hey, it's Halloween. No big deal. All right, since I have the Stamparatus, I'm going to go ahead, instead of doing this on a block, just in case we don't get the spider quite as dark as we want him, we're going to go ahead and do him on the Stamparatus too. What the heck? We've got it here handy. I'm going to take that off so we won't get a double halo. And I usually don't clean the Memento ink on my chamois, but this is easier right now for this. But normally I go ahead and use the Stampin' Scrub for this so it doesn't just totally stain my chamois. Okay, now we picked up our little spider. And we're going to get him inked up. How cute is he? He looks kind of like a frog. He kind of has a frog face for a spider, I think. Thank you, Steve, for letting me know. My wonderful husband is checking everything out, making sure we're actually broadcasting on Facebook and YouTube like we want. So thank you for that, Steve and Lynn. I appreciate your help on that. He's a lot more technical than I am on things. So we'll get that off, give him a little swipe, and move on. Now, we'll be done with that. And I have die cut the pieces already for this card. You will be happy to know. But I did want to show you on the, I've already textured, embossed the black card base, but I do want to show you, I'm going to get the emboss machine out, the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, just to show you how this works with a small, because this, you can use the mini when you're using this, but not if you're using it for the whole width of a card base. You've got to do it twice. So in order to do it, the texture embossing, you just need the gray plate. You need the #1 platform. Seems like I might need to raise this up just a little. Hopefully that's not going to mess everything up. Give you a little more of a view of it. There we go. All righty. So you'll take your cardstock, and normally the Stampin' Up! Logo is up on most embossing folders. So if you have the front of your cardstock in here and the Stampin' Up! Logo up, that should do it. You just have to be very aware when you're doing this. You need to get this lined up. I've got it on the edge here, and then I'm trying to do it where the edge of this, you can see, hopefully you can see that the embossing stops about maybe a 1/16 of an inch or something from the edge. So you can overlap a little bit on the back of the card base. It's not a big deal, but don't forget and go all the way in on the card base, or you're going to end up with this, which it doesn't look very good on the back. Ask me how I know. So you'll line it up once, and then you always run it through hinge first. So you'll put your gray plate on, run it through, and then you'll take it out, and then you'll move it over. And you can overlap it a little bit, especially on these stripes. If you just kind of lock it in place on one of those stripes, it'll work. But you can only go so far. You can't go all the way because your platform is not that wide. So you've got to kind of get it, you got to kind of just work with it, wiggle it around a little bit. Then you run it through the second time with your gray plate, and you'll have it ready. So just wanted to give you that little hint that you can do it with a skinny little folder that's not as wide as your cardstock. You just have to run it through twice and be careful with the width, and be careful that you don't overlap too much on the back side. Okay. And we'll get our little silicone mat to glue with. So this is a basic black card base, and it is 4 1/4 by 8 1/2. I'm sorry, 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. And you'll go ahead and use your bone folder to burnish it, get a nice crisp edge there. And then we're going to take all the pieces that we've done already. And I put the mango, this is Mango Melody, with the time worn type folder on it. And I just glued it flat. And I haven't used this glue since the last live. So we'll see. Yep, we need to poke it. Need to give it a little poke here and get that clog out. I like these little things that give it a little bit of finer tip, but you do have to take care of them no matter what size you have or what type you have. It seems like liquid glue always wants to clog up some. So we're going to move this out of the way, do this so I won't have a mess on my little work surface here. Maybe give it a little extra glue just because this is textured. You're putting texture on texture. And I'm just gluing this one flat because I am going to pop up the next 2 layers. So I didn't think we needed 3 layers popped up. Just in case here, I'm going to do this. Have a little extra room. Alrighty. And I have taken out the center of this. I cut the middle out with a smaller of the decal rectangles right here. I just cut 2 of them as I wanted, and then I saved the middle, and I'm going to use it on a different card. I just can't bear to throw away that much cardstock or waste it. So you can't tell once you get this on it. So I've done that, the same thing with the black layer. And I did not texture this since these 2 are both textured. I didn't texture this one. And I am going to use, we do have, Stampin' Up! Has black dimensionals and white dimensionals. So might as well, if you're putting black on the card base, might as well use the black dimensionals. And they, if somebody is peeking at the side to see how you did that magic of raising this frame up, it'll be trickier for them to see because it'll be black on black. And you can use your take your pick tool for this, or you can use your fingernails like I did. Try to get this mess into a pile here so you don't have to look at such a mess. Now we've already got liquid glue. I swear, I am just a messy girl. That's just all there is to it. See if I can, I think my phone is not straight. I'm trying to get straight and for y'all. So I've got another basic black layer on top of the Mango Melody layer. Then we're going to take our little white layer with the boots, and we're going to take our watercolor pencils once I locate them again. There we go. And I use Daffodil Delight and Gorgeous Grape, Granny Apple Green. I think that's it on this. Daffodil Delight. Oh, Pumpkin Pie. So 2 of those are in here. Oops, I think this is the grape. Grape, Gorgeous Grape, Granny Apple Green. And then the other assortment, the initial assortment that we've had for a lot of years, is in this set. It has Daffodil Delight and Pumpkin Pie. So those are the 4 colors we'll be using. And I would highly recommend getting watercolor pencils if you don't have some already. These are, I have really enjoyed using these here lately. I had just kind of forgotten about them. I got them years ago and then haven't used them in a while. So we're going to, I kind of like coloring on the cardboard. So I'm just taking a piece of cardboard. It just depends on what your surface is. If it's a nice wooden desk that you don't want to make any, you're worried about indentations or something, then you might consider doing it this way. And I should have done these mismatched. I meant to, but I didn't. We're going to give her matching socks. Whoops, I went a little bit out on the edge, which I think is totally appropriate for Halloween. Everything's kind of fun anyway, so if you make a little boo-boo, it's not a big deal. I'll get a sand eraser after it shortly. Whoop. Okay, now we're going to get our blender pen that we have a glue dot stuck to. And this will really brighten this up. Here's the pumpkin pie. Then you take and wipe off that color before you go to the next color. In fact, I'm just going to leave that pumpkin pie. We're going to go ahead and color our other ones that are inside. We're going to do those. Purple. And the Daffodil Delight on the buckle. And I'm not putting another greeting on the inside, so I have plenty of room to write whatever I want to write. We'll just do our little orange there. Now I'll wipe that off. Go the next color. We'll go ahead and do green on both of these. Wipe that off, because you'll get kind of a brown color if you mix colors across from each other on the color wheel in particular. I guess I'm going to go ahead and do the yellow. And then go to the darkest color, which is the Gorgeous Grape. So there are our boots, all done. Just get that, make sure you get that until it runs clear, and then you can put it up for the next time. How easy was that? Okay, now we're gonna take the inside. We can go ahead and put that in. Since we're done, we'll get that out of the way and move on to the front. And to me, this looked kind of like skirts, like a multi-layered skirt, like the, I don't know, not mariachi band, but the dancers that sometimes are with a mariachi band. I'm not sure what that troupe is called, that kind of dance troupe, but with all the bright colored skirts and layers and fun things like you see in Mexico. And so that's kind of what I was thinking when I came up with this plan. And you can see how I just cut the little border dies. I actually lined up 2 different colored pieces of paper. This is about 6 inches, and this pack of paper is 6 inches by 6 inches. So you can get, and then I cut it in half and had the 3-inch strips, and there you go. All right, we're going to shift this over again. And I would recommend just kind of dry fitting this, or that's what I call it. I've heard it called different things, but just kind of see where you're going to be to kind of even these out before you actually start gluing. Okay. So that looks about right. So I'm going to start, I'm just going to kind of hold those there and glue on the back of the Gorgeous Grape first. And this is the Designer Series paper assortment layer. So those, we know that about how that worked out. So we can go ahead and move them off to do this. But they're plaid on one side and dots on the other. Isn't that fun? I like that a lot. And then you get this in each of our color families. We have this in the regals, the neutrals, the subtles, the brights, and then also we have this same type of pack in the in colors. So that's fun. In the in colors that are kind of like junior, senior in colors. we have 5 in colors that came in last year, so that this is their last year. They're only in for 2 years. And then we had 5 other new in colors that came in this year and will go through next year. So they kind of rotate that way. Rotate out of the catalog. And I use liquid glue just for this reason, so you can kind of mess with it a little bit, wiggle it over, move it around. And we may still have to trim that just a little. I kind of move it like that. Sometimes it'll just wiggle over for me. I'm going to get my little trimmer after that, or I can just I'll use my paper trimmers. Usually I would use the paper trimmer for this, but since we're kind of trying to do this quickly on the air, we're just going to do it this way. There we go. Get rid of all that mess so you don't have to look at it. Trim that just a tad. Okay. Now we're just going to use dimensionals on this one. And we're going to use black on it too. You're doing white, but We're adhering it to black, so either way works. I'd say on this one, I'm going to go ahead and do a couple in the middle there. We want that to stay up for sure. Y'all may think that's a bit excessive, but I really want it to stay popped up off of those other frames. There we go. Easy peasy. And here's our card base. We're just going to center this. And nobody would ever know those centers are cut out of there, right? So no use wasting that paper. And I've already cut the Halloween happiness out. And like I said, this banner that comes with the Scary Cute bundle that is in the catalog, it's in the holiday catalog, the mini catalog, page 56. And oh, okay, Tanya, thank you for tuning in. Yeah, mariachi dancers. Thanks, Janice. I'm glad you liked the card. I'm sorry, I forgot to look at the comments. All right, Bewitching Bundle is the main bundle that I used, as I said, for the feet stamp and then also the punch. And it has the cute little spider too. So we're just going to pop this up, and I'm just going to use dimensionals for that also. And I'm just going to use white on this one. So you could use anything this size. You could kind of play with whatever size your greeting is. You could put a circle up here if you need to. You could use the Stylish Shapes banner, which would be a little bit bigger. You could do that in a color, but I think we've got plenty of color on here. It seems pretty bright. Bright and cheery and fun. And you can make it, you could center it. Some people like to center everything. I kind of like things. It just, I think, creates a little more interest sometimes when you have something hanging off the edge that pulls your eye around. And so I'm going to leave mine that way. I'm going to see if I've got my Wink of Stella here. And we'll just glitter up around the side of that. This is our glitter brush called Wink of Stella. We'll see if I might have gotten my old one in here. Oh, it's got a little, it has a little glitter. You can kind of just do the little edges of it. It has kind of an indentation around on this banner die. So there you go. Halloween happiness. Now we'll just add our stars and we will be done. We're going to use our glue dots and add some of the little yellow stars, and I have already punched them out. And it's easy to punch these with our little punch right here. It punches out 3 different ones. Hard to see that with the glare. There you go. Saw it for a second there. Hard to get the lighting just right for that. So we're just going to put some little stars down here. If y'all like the stars, what do you think of the stars? Think it adds a little pizzazz to it? Y'all think that this kind of looks like mariachi dancers? Like I was thinking? Okay, Tanya, we got stars. And I'm just going to take the star to the glue dot. I think that's the easiest way to do that. And I think I have 3 the same size. You'll get different sizes when you punch it, but I just accidentally grabbed all the same size on here, but I don't think it's critical at all. We'll just stick 3 of these little babies on here. And I will be doing the videos for the other 3 cards for this class to go this week. So y'all be sure and tune in for that. And we're going to Wink of Stella those and we'll be good to go. Does anybody have any questions about this Bewitching set or anything coming up. I'm going to have some Christmas card classes as soon as I get these Halloween ones posted. I have a whole lot of the paper pumpkin. I did 8 cards for that. And I did a video, but I finally have the blog post done, and I will be posting those tomorrow. And then we'll get to working on the Christmas stuff. And I did want to let you know that Saturday, this coming Saturday, October 1st, is World Card Making Day. So that is very exciting. And the Stampin' Up! Is having a virtual event. And if y'all are interested in participating in that, you can let me know and I'll send you the link, or you can just go to the Stampin' Up! Website, or you can go to my createwithkelly.com, click shop, excuse me, and or promotions, events, something like that, and it'll pop up for you and show you. It's a free virtual event, so you can tune in from home and craft with people all over the world. And here in Lubbock, it's Central Time, so you'll tune in from 3 to 6, anywhere during that time period, and you'll be able to craft virtually with lots of people. And if you are in the Lubbock area and would like to come by my craft suite, we'll have several of us here crafting together. They are using 3 different bundles, and I can send you all that information. It's Cottage Wreath Bundle and Cottage Rose Bundle, and then a Welcome Home Bundle, or something that's close to that. That's going to be coming out in the new catalog that will be here January through June. So we're about to go to a Stampin' Up! Conference. Some of us in the Lubbock area are going. You just have to be a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator to register, and we're doing that on November 12th. So we're excited about that coming up. Love to get together with some crazy crafty people. We just all have a lot in common in this paper crafting community. So I am glad you've tuned in. And if you have any questions about the World Card Making Day or want me to send you that information, I'll be glad to send that to you. And just a reminder that the weekly deals, I think, end tonight at midnight. I believe they do. Tonight at midnight. And then also through September, we have the Perfect Partners bundles that we've gone over before, that are 6 different stamp sets, have coordinating dies. And if you have any of those stamp sets and want the dies, get them before the end of September, because they'll be gone. They're not going to carry over into a catalog that we know of. They certainly haven't told us if they're going to. And let's see what else. Weekly deals. I think that's about it that I was going to share. Next week, I'll give you my whole card class lineup and everything for October coming up. I've got another Ollie class. I'll have a beginner class. I'll have an intermediate kind of class. That may be a Christmas Stamp-A-Stack, and it may be a product-based class. We'll just see. And then I will have a techniques class next month, and I'm always open to ideas about that. So thanks again for tuning in. Hope y'all are having a great evening and have a great week. We've got a lot of fun times ahead. So thanks for tuning in, and let me know what you're interested in. And please subscribe to my blog and share this video. I'm just happy to have YouTube subscribers and Facebook subscribers, and would love for you to be a part of both. And thanks a lot for tuning in. Y'all have a great week. Fun times ahead. Bye-bye.